Welcome to Tanger Mouse Studio D. Today we're looking at a prototype version of The Villagers from Black Forest Studios. The Villagers is a social deduction game for 6 or even more players being published by Black Forest Studios. It'll be on Kickstarter soon. Now, in the game, players will take on roles either for the Plague Doctors team or for the Villagers team. Now, the Plague Doctors are trying to infect the players, but the Villagers are trying to out the Plague Doctors. At the beginning of the game, players receive one card that will be their role for that game. The rulebook helps divide up the cards needed depending on the number of players. The moderator can be randomly chosen if you want by shuffling in the moderator card. The play begins with all players closing their eyes and begin the dawn phase. Now, dawn only happens once in the game and helps certain players gain information, like whoever is on the Plague Doctor's team gets to see who their teammates are. Any healers and the apothecary get to see who each other are, or the sentries get to see who they are teamed up with. Then the day phase begins. Players are trying to figure out who the Plague Doctors are, and if someone is accused, they have to ask for a second accuser. If someone's seconds, then the accused person has 1 minute to make a defense. Then a vote occurs. If the majority rules to eliminate that player, then that player is eliminated for that game. If no one is eliminated before the time limit runs out, which is about 7 minutes, then the night phase begins. During the night phase, the moderator goes through a scripted outline which goes through certain parties waking up and making decisions like having the healers pick someone to vaccinate, having the Plague Doctors choose someone to infect. The game's over when either the Plague Doctors are eliminated from the game or there are more players on the Plague Doctors team than the Villagers team. Each game is different not only because it's a social deduction game, but because of the roles that are chosen for that game. The Crow was part of the Plague Doctor's team, but can only infect weak, sentry, or contagious villagers. And if a contagious villager is eliminated during the night phase, then the other contagious villager is also eliminated. The Huntress is looking for the Crow. The Priest has the ability to find out who the Plague Doctors are. Some other fun roles are the Blacksmith, who can withstand one infection without dying, or the Beggar, who starts as a villager but then switches to the Plague Doctor's team if he becomes a victim during the evening, or the Sinister Villager, who is on the Plague Doctor's team but doesn't infect any players. That player wins if the Plague Doctors win. So if you've played social deduction games like Mafia or Werewolf, this game's going to feel right at home. I think this new theme brings some new things to the table, especially with the roles like the Huntress is looking for the Crow, and the Crow is looking to infect certain types of players. I like that the game is timed, especially during the day phase, and players don't even need to be eliminated during the day phase. Because of that time factor, it keeps the game moving. The moderator, though, has a very important part. He needs to know who the players are, their names. That really helps as the game moves through the gameplay, and that script in the game really helps you during the night phase to keep track of things. So I do really like the illustrations on these cards. It definitely looks like it's from the time period of the Black Plague. The one downside is you can't really look at these cards throughout the game because you're doing more social interaction and the cards face down in front of you for most of the game. So if you're looking for a new take and theme on this social deduction type game, then check out The Villagers by Black Forest Studios, coming to Kickstarter soon.